give me some Q&A questions that I'll ask on the pod. So we'll go over these for a bit, and then we have a couple other things planned. But so first, we kind of briefly mentioned it before getting into this past draft we just did, but like favorite episodes we've recorded for Real Talk, or like real quick, just like favorite moments, like what comes to mind. Like I really think our Halloween episode was so fun because we actually all committed. Like we all got dressed up. Yeah. The nun costume was legendary.
Yeah, I scared Cam. That was awesome.
You know what I think about quite often before we started doing the real quicks, we were trying to determine what to name those episodes, and Cam jokingly threw out real quick, and we were all like, "Wait, that's kind of like," and then that's kind of amazing
and real fun as well.
The real funs too. We haven't done those in a while.
I love some of our like funny drafts, like the two that really seem to mind is the animal movie draft and the best and worst people to have in the Hunger Games. I think they were hilarious. I had such a good time.
Those were
sorry Josiah for picking you in that draft.
Obviously the what draft was it? Was it the animal draft when the infamous like I drafted the Lion King before Cam and he like threw his computer and like freaked out?
I think so, yeah.
No, because Cam was like, "Oh, I don't think anyone's gonna pick this," and then Tyler immediately picked.
Yeah.
Such an asshole move.
Yeah, some of the drafts.
Oh, that was.
What's your favorite review? What's your guys' favorite review we've done in terms of like a new release?
Honestly, I think After Sun, because that was the one new release we did a real quick for, right?
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed Oppenheimer recently.
The Barbenheimer review. I like that one. We went super in depth. Even Guardians 3, I feel like we talked a long time with.
I think it's best when we like all.
It's great when we all love a movie,
like Guardians, like Oppenheimer, Across the Spider-Verse, those sort of things.
Yeah, I think the episode that's like aged the best, like fine wine for us, is the ReelTok Awards. Like if you look at all the awards we gave out for the 2022 year, we gave out like that stuff's aging great. I feel like already some of the Oscar wins aren't aging the best in terms of like no one talks about Brendan Fraser and The Whale anymore or anything like that. And it's like we crushed our ReelTok Awards. So I'm excited for our next award show, our second annual.
Are we adding a worst of the year this year?
Yes. Here's a little trivia for you. So right now, our ReelTok Awards is our 4th highest viewed episode.
I know this because I checked them. I know them all.
Did you? Damn.
Isn't Don't Worry, Darling our number one?
Our number 1 is the first ever episode.
Second, it's Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Third, it's the is it the Barbenheimer one now?
No, Barbenheimer is 5.
So is 4 the awards one?
4 is the awards. You don't have 3 right now.
Don't Worry, Darling one, right? Episode 3?
No, Don't Worry, Darling is number 6.
Oh.
Is it a real quick?
Is there a way to filter this?
It is it's a real quick. Yeah, it's a real quick. I'll give you that.
Is it the golden ranking? I know that
it's real quick, episode 14.
Is that the Halloween special?
No. Our top 10 favorite movies of all time.
Yes, because I looked at that earlier today because I forgot if Tyler's was Boyhood or About Time, so I had to watch that one today for my like National Cinema Day post to post your favorite movie.
We've had a few pop like our Nolan ranking is 7, and then the Raiders episode is 8.
Yeah,
I know Cam is like a strong Spartan in terms of he has no superhero fatigue, but I know like Seth, George, and myself are feeling it a bit. But it's sad looking back to like episode 12 of Real Quick when I know Seth wasn't on this one, but because we filmed it at like 2 a.m. maybe George and Cam's time when the DC slate was dropped, and we were all like so excited for superhero movies, and we were like up late as fuck talking about it, and it's like already like a lot of that excitement's gone, but not through James Gunn's fault, through the fault of like freaking just having more movies that aren't under him, and it's just confusing. But yeah, I'm just scrolling through all our videos now. I think those are kind of like the ones that are really sticking out at me, that are like kind of the big great moments of. It was fun, like breaking down like the Oscars, I guess.
Oscars was fun. I like when we do those, like when we break down. Like,
one day we'll have to get into our top actors because that was a fun time.
Yeah. When I shit on 65, that was a pretty fun episode.
A good movie or a
fine movie.
When we all reviewed Quantumania and we all ripped it to shreds, and Cam was fighting for his life, trying to act like it wasn't that bad.
It just wasn't that bad.
We've had some low key kind of stinker real quick reviews, like The Age of Innocence, where we kind of all showed up and we're like, we just just not a movie we liked. We just had to.
I always feel bad about shitting on the real quick review.
People have recommended them. It's like I feel awkward about it.
you guys didn't watch it, but before we go, what Tyler and I reviewed, we reviewed it yesterday. It was a movie that's like one of our patrons, like one of his favorite movies. And he was like in my Twitch stream talking to me about it, and he was saying like he really loves it. And then I always feel so bad, just like being like I didn't love it as much. But that's the great thing about movies. I think my cat just jumped out our window, so that's lovely.
Yikes.
I'm not kidding. Yeah, my wife is currently wrangling our cat back inside.
Well, that answers that question. So there's some great moments kind of going down memory lane of the ReelTok podcast. So there's a lot of people that asked that question. So shout out to all of you. So I guess I'll give you shout out to Rob. Discord doesn't say like your guys' last name, but like Rob, Oscar Trinick, both asked for that. Someone asked favorite real quick movie review draft. We kind of already just covered that. What's one thing? This is interesting. I'm very curious to answers. What's one thing you would have changed or done differently during the first year of the podcast? Very curious to see what you guys have to say. If you can think of anything for this one.
I wish I had invested sooner.
Did what? Say that again.
Invested into a better mic sooner. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I listen, like the difference is, that's probably one. George, you had one. I don't know.
No, I was gonna say I like the transition, and it's not that I dislike how we used to run our episodes, but I like the transition that we made of doing like movie reviews and then doing like a specific segment of rankings or something like that, as opposed to like movie reviews, trailers, news, draft, and like
I miss trailer time.
Yeah, I miss trailer time too, but
I think we used to cover too much movie news that no one actually cared about.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue. I like we do
agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree. I like the new outline that we have where we just touch on like the really important stuff if anything pops up.
Yeah.
I still wish we just had more time for TikTok videos. That's the biggest killer in my opinion. So I can't change it now, but maybe in year 2 we'll get a little bit better on it. And it's totally on me for sure, but just life happens.
It's not all people. We have very busy
life more so.
lives.
TikTok is the hardest social media to keep up with, in my opinion.
We've been posting more over the last like 2 weeks.
More. It's easiest to grow, but just hardest to keep up with. I think. Like, shooting off a tweet is easy, but then TikTok, you gotta edit it and everything.
Editing the clips.
Hey, consistency.
Hopefully, year 2 we get a bit better at that.
Consistency's been here though, in terms of actually the YouTube. We have done so well in terms of not really missing many episodes each of us on the actual podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We've never missed a weekly episode, no matter how many people have been on it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never missed an episode. Period.
Well, we can't really do it without you.
You are ReelTok.
I now have OBS Studios, so maybe one day Tyler can take a break and leave us be.
So shout out to let's see, that was Will. Again, I don't have the last name on Discord. Will and Isaac asked that question, so they both asked kind of what would we have done differently. Max Wilson asked something kind of similar, so not necessarily looking back in the next year, but in the next year going forward, what's something we kind of look to achieve or anything we're excited about for the next year? I guess just the next year going forward, what do we hope to kind of achieve that we haven't achieved already on the ReelTok pod?
Just do what we're doing, just bigger and better, improve in all areas. I think is the main thing.
I'd love to get a big actor on or something, like maybe for a review, like for not a review, but
like a draft or just something fun.
Interview.
Not even that. Just like if we could get an interview, that would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun to do.
Hi, Leonardo DiCaprio.
You'd have to get someone who's a pretty cool actor to do like a draft.
Yeah.
Of that. But I would love if we got like
a director or something.
I'd love if we got a big interview.
I'd love to record an episode where we're all in the exact same room.
People, the issue is with that. A lot of people say,
no money.
when are you guys going to do it? Even though you three are based in the US, it's not just like a walk. You know what I mean? You're
right. Yeah. Even though we're in the same country, it's still far as fuck for all three of us to get together. We're literally
it's very expensive to get to these very far away. We all have jobs. We all have like work lives. It is something we want to do. We definitely will do in the future. But it's something that's quite hard. So it's not just, getting a train for a couple of hours. Do you know what I mean? It's traveling across the world for me. Traveling across the US for you guys. It's expensive. We all have lives. We definitely want to do it 100%.
Right. Because George and I live like as far away from each other as like you basically possibly can in America. Like it's probably like from like Seth in the UK to like Ukraine. Like literally. Like that's basically the distance like George and I probably live away from each other.
How far would the flight be, do you reckon, from Phoenix to New York?
The flight would be probably like 5.5 hours or so.
Probably further than Ukraine then, I think.
Yeah.
Actually.
My flight to London was 6 hours. So
yes, literally,
the same distance.
Yeah, it's like one of those things that like a lot of people just like kind of forget. Like even like Americans, you kind of just forget over time like how big this freaking country is. So it's like takes a long time, but yeah, being in person would be
honestly,
super fun.
I think if I were going to Cam, I think Amtrak would be way faster than a flight.
Amtrak goes to Indiana?
If it does, I imagine it would.
I feel like that's a very New York centric thought because there's no way a train's getting out to Indiana.
I'm like 2 hours.
That's a privilege. Like you get nice public transportation. I mean, not nice because I know you hate on it, but
it's probably like an hour 45 from me to you. It's not that bad from us to each other. But on top of that, it's like not even just like money or traveling. Time. On top of that, time's the biggest thing. Like, I get. I'm sure you were all around this. I get like 3 weeks vacation, and I love you all, and I'd love to do like a week's trip and record a couple episodes in person and stuff. But like when you start planning it out, like if we did one with Emma's family, one with my family, one just us two together, there's my 3 weeks gone right there. It's really hard to do, especially like with kids and stuff. But I think this year we can maybe make it happen. Hopefully, we'll see.
And also, just to clarify, people have messaged me this a lot, and I said this to you guys before. Don't message me saying use the podcast money. That doesn't mean anything. That's not going to get us very far.
We love you guys. You're trying to help out. I've gotten several emails of the ReelTok Podcast Gmail account saying like, hey, like I would love to like kind of be like hired on to be like an editor and help you with stuff. Like we love you guys. We appreciate trying to help out, but we do not make near the money you probably think from not even just the podcast, but like TikTok, social media in general, like wildly different from what I think a lot of people who aren't in the social media space think people make. Like we do not make.
We also split everything 4 ways compared to any other podcast that's probably splits them 2 ways or 3 ways. Like once you start getting it into quarters, it is much lower. But I mean, it's still a great benefit. We appreciate all the support that we have gotten.
Yeah, but no, getting like an actor or something on would be super fun for like an interview. I think like the ReelTok Awards show, we threw together like last minute last year, so I'm excited to kind of get a little more prep time for it because it was so well received last year. But if we kind of get some awesome stuff leading up to this year, that'd be super fun. But yeah, just kind of improving. Also, one thing like just to mention, just to pimp our Patreon one more time, like check it out in the description. I'm going to be sending out a survey to all of our Patreons because I think it's like kind of overdue for like a refresh and just kind of, it's just be like a survey and just be like, what perks are we giving out? Like basically rate them 1 to 5 and how much you actually care for them. What do you wish we do that we don't do now? What are we doing now that you're like, you probably don't have to do this here if you don't want to spend your time on it. Like we would much prefer you focusing efforts other places. So that's a big thing. We're going to try and get feedback for our Patreon. Yeah, just because the point of Patreon is for us to provide you guys what you guys want. So like we've been doing the kind of the same stuff for almost 8 months now on Patreon. So we're gonna kind of see if you guys want to switch it up or get different stuff. And then another thing, we're gonna kind of just a little minor rebrand. We're gonna still have the same logo, same color scheme, but I think we're gonna get a new like podcast cover, new maybe banner and stuff like that for like the social medias heading into the new year in terms of the podcast. So once episode 53 comes out, check out our new thumbnails, new everything. It's going to be a nice little refresh. So just trying to improve the pod as much as we can every week is kind of what we're doing. So as always, leave as many comments as possible with stuff you think we can do better.
I have enjoyed and this isn't new for the new year, but I have enjoyed having guests on as well. I think that's been a fun refresh, and and we do appreciate all the comments that are saying like they're great, or we want all 4 of you back, which we always want to be back. But it is nice rather than maybe doing a 2-person pod, doing like a 4-person with 2 new people if we can't get everyone on. That's been fun. I've enjoyed that.
Yeah, just to comment on that. So like the guest episodes have been like out of necessity. Like we've said, like there was episodes like George has been gone, and there's episodes like Cam couldn't make, Seth couldn't make. So we've had them on to basically fill them in. So it's not just a 2-person episode. So lately, since the travel schedule has been so crazy, we've had so many guest episodes, and we get it. Like some people love them, some people don't. But it's really just like helping to fill in content because like we kind of said, there just wouldn't be episodes probably the last couple of weeks if we weren't able to have them. So I think we definitely will still have guest episodes in the future. Like those aren't going anywhere, but it'll be like sprinkled in terms of like when do we feel like having a guest on, maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months, as opposed to like lately it's been more out of necessity. And I'm just going to say right now, like 53, 54, 55, like we want to just be us 4, but I still have like weekends where we're going to have to do double recording. So if some people aren't able to make that swing, we might have to do another guest episode. But we'll see. We're not going to try and have them as much as we do in the past, but just know that like guest episodes in general like are keeping the podcast going. So we really are thankful for all the guests who've stepped in and just fit right into the bunch and really have been giving us great, diverse episodes. We've had just like wildly different guests, and we're gonna look to keep trying to get more of your favorite people, favorite movie talkers, TikTokers, movie industry people on to kind of keep the podcast diverse and fresh. So
I think it's important to note as well in the opposite sense that there are 4 of us. So a lot of the reason why we've been precautious about having guests on before is because there are 4 of us. You know, you don't want 6, 7 people on a podcast at one time.
Right.
That would just become a mess, in my opinion. Well, we don't know, but I feel like that would talk over each other, and that would be annoying to listen to. So we have to be more precautious because there's 4 of us. You know, this isn't just a 2-person podcast.
Right.
There's a lot more to go into it than just, you know, picking a guest and choosing them, basically.
Yeah. And then for everyone saying like we missed episodes, just you 4, we do too. Trust us. Like we didn't choose this. Like,
well, we're back now.
Yeah, we're back now. We're back. But yeah, again, the guests have been so great filling in.